Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're jumping into this really amazing story out of Vietnam. It's all about a massive shift in their education system. And get this, it's not being driven by some super expensive new technology. It's being powered by a smart, creative, and totally free digital toolkit. Let's dive in.
So, rewind to 2017. Vietnam's Ministry of Education lays down this bold new vision. They wanted to completely move on from the old-school way of doing things. You know the one. What the research paper calls the teacher reads, student copies method. The goal was to pivot to something way more dynamic, more student-focused. Think project-based learning, critical thinking, and kids actually getting their hands dirty.
But that's a huge goal, right? It immediately brings up a massive question. How in the world do you actually do that? How do you get thousands of teachers across an entire country on board with not just new tools, but a completely new way of thinking about teaching? Yeah, this was so much more than just putting computers in classrooms. We're talking about a fundamental change in philosophy. And that's the challenge that researchers at Condau University, down in the Mekong Delta, decided to take on. They set out to find a solution that was practical and, just as importantly, scalable.
And here is where it gets really clever. Their solution didn't involve convincing the government to buy some pricey proprietary software. Nope. They built their entire teacher training program around a toolkit of powerful, effective, and, this is the best part, completely free digital tools. So let's peek inside this toolkit. What are we working with? Well, you've got Google's G Suite, which is awesome for collaboration. Then there's OK Mindmap, a free online tool for brainstorming visually. They used Scratch, that super cool, simple programming language from MIT, to let students create their own animations and games. And to pull it all together, they used Facebook and Moodle to build communities and share course materials. Just simple, accessible tools that a lot of us already use.
And that principle was really their North Star. See, the magic wasn't just in any single tool. It was in the method they used to weave them all together. It just goes to show you, real innovation doesn't have to break the bank.
So, you have all these fantastic free tools, but how do you make them work together in an actual lesson plan? What's the strategy? Well, the answer, and the secret ingredient here, is a brilliant method called the web quest.
So what on earth is a web quest? The paper calls it an inquiry-oriented activity. But honestly, here's a much better way to think of it. It's a guided digital scavenger hunt. The teacher gives students a really interesting problem to solve and a hand-picked list of websites and resources. Then, they basically send the students on a mission to explore, to learn, and to create.
Let's walk through how it works. First, the teacher acts as a curator, right? They provide the quality links so students aren't just lost on the internet. Second, the students, usually working in small groups, dig into these resources to solve a real-world problem. And third, this part is crucial. They don't just write a report. They have to create something new to show what they've learned, like a presentation, a little website, or maybe even a game.
Now, an idea is great, but you gotta know if it works in the real world. So in the summer of 2017, the team at Condau University put their whole model to the test. They brought in a group of 80 teachers for a training program to see what they really thought.
And the feedback they got back? It was just incredible. When the teachers were asked how effective the WebQuest model was, 52%, more than half, said it was very useful. Another 28% called it useful and convenient. I mean, that is a massive thumbs up from the people who actually have to use this stuff every day.
Let's just put those numbers together for a second. That's a full 80% of the teachers who immediately saw the practical value in this. This wasn't some abstract theory. They could see exactly how this could change their own classrooms for the better.
And you know, it wasn't just the WebQuest method they were excited about. The feedback for the entire training program was sky high. From the quality of the materials to the instructors themselves, everything got rave reviews. It shows you the whole thing was just really well thought out. And that brings us to the really big idea here. This project isn't just a successful little experiment in one corner of Vietnam. It's so much more than that. It's basically a blueprint for low-cost, high-impact change in education that could work pretty much anywhere. I mean, think about the power of this model. It's almost free, so it's super scalable. It also champions using legit open-source tools instead of pirated software, which is a huge win for digital ethics. It helps teachers build networks to support each other. But maybe the most important thing is that it empowers teachers to be creators, not just people delivering a curriculum someone else made.
And that leads to this beautiful ultimate vision. The goal isn't just to do one training session and call it a day. It's to kickstart a whole movement where teachers all over the country are building and sharing their own web quests, creating this massive, free, open library of amazing educational resources for everyone to use.
And that's really what it all boils down to. This story, in the end, isn't about Google or Scratch or any specific piece of tech. It's about a fundamental shift in trust. It's about empowering teachers with the tools, the methods, and the community they need to lead educational change from the ground up.
So as we wrap up, I'll just leave you with this to think about. What could a simple, free, and collaborative model like this one from Vietnam unlock for the students and the teachers right in your own community?